This is Screen Sport. It's time now to go to Andover for international grass track racing. The commentator, Rob McCaffrey.
Grass track's final large event of the season takes place here today at Manor Farm near Salisbury in Wiltshire, in fact in the village of Winterbourne Gunner, and it's the 1985 Ace of Aces solo and sidecar grass track competition. And looking there at one of the sidecar units, that's number 5, Roger Meeser and Dave Harris. They're the British Masters for 1985, and the sidecars can provide some superb entertainment here. The promoter, Ian Barclay, in the white jacket there, taking a look over the riders as they gather. The number 1 machinery, Steve Smith, the rider, former Ace of Aces champion, indeed won the title last year when paired with Alan Artis, who's now switched over to ride with Paul Pinfold on the number 8 machine. Smith, then the defending champion, on the number 1 machine, backed up by his passenger Mark Nelson on the 650cc supercharged Wasp machine. Number 2 in view there, Steve Jewison and Chris Brown riding the Miller Drifter. They're from Purley, in what I think is Hampshire. Other pairings in this sidecar side of things, Alan Blewett and Nev Wilson from Darlington, Ted Tucker and Dave Ward, number 4 from Lincoln. And indeed there we have Blewett and Wilson in view. So the sidecars generally powered by engines around the 1000cc mark. As you can see though, it's Smith's 650 supercharged Wasp that won last year's title. So it's a mixture of the solo and the sidecar here today at Manor Farm in the 1985 Ace of Aces. And we've got plenty of races to get through, so let's go straight in to the first race. But indeed, before the racing gets underway, there's a very special arrival here at the Ace of Aces. The helicopter lowering in. That helicopter's being used for hire rides around the circuit here today during the afternoon. But first, it delivers a very special person, because the guest of honor at today's Ace of Aces grass track meeting is Corinne Russell, one of the Sun Page 3 girls, and also features in Kenny Everett's television program. So Corinne arriving in style there, and she will be presenting the trophies later on. In the meantime, being introduced to the riders here at the start. So a touch of glamour here at Winterbourne Gunner. And the sidecars now have the first of their races in the first leg of the Ace of Aces Sidecar Challenge. We get 6 units per race in this, 3 races per round, with each driver and passenger getting 1 race each per round. Number 5, Roger Meeser and Dave Harris lead on the first lap here in the 998 Honda. Meeser and Harris virtually unbeatable on the grass this year, and indeed leading by a commanding margin here in the first race. Other pairings in this, we have Steve Smith and Mark Nelson, 4 Ted Tucker and Dave Ward, 11 Mike Cameron and Paul Randall, 10 Colin Banks and John Hall, and 8 Paul Pinfold and Alan Artis. So going down into the turn, it's number 5 Meeser and Harris, the unit that leads. Looking now for the second as they come into the home straight, and it's number 8, Paul Pinfold and Alan Artis in second. Third place, Colin Banks and John Hall. Then we have Ted Tucker and Dave Ward. At the back, it's Steve Smith and Mark Nelson. Which means in 5th place, we have Mick Cameron and Paul Randall. But there we have the British Masters still holding down first place here in race 1 for the sidecars. But closing in a second now, it's Paul Pinfold and Alan Artis, the number 8 pairing. Passengers hanging right over the rear wheels, then keeping the units down as they go round the bends. And the checkered flag coming out now in the first race of the Ace of Aces sidecar. First place goes to Roger Meeser, number 5, as he comes out of the turn, if he can hold him off. Yes, it's Meeser first, Pinfold second, number 8, third place, number 10, it was Banks. Then we had number 11, number 4, and finally number 1. And those names, number 11 was Cameron, 4 was Tucker, and 6 it was Steve Smith. So a win there for Roger Meeser in the first of the sidecar races. It's 6 points for a win, by the way, in sidecars, down to 1 for last place. We're looking now at race 6, the Ace of Aces sidecar heat 2 in the first leg. Coming up in this, we have number 3, Alan Blewett, and his passenger, Nev Wilson. And one of the chairs rolling forward there and taking out with the starting tape So Blewett takes the inside gate position at the front. Grid 2, it's number 7, Ken Jones, with his passenger Roland Broomfield. Gate 3, it's number 12, Terry Skinner and Clive Reynolds. Then on the second row of the grid, we have 16, Pete Brown, 19, Jeff Meeser, and 9, Dennis Teasdale. So the front three come up to the tape. And there's some signals going on there from one of the passengers. Looks like it is Nev Wilson on the number 3 machine, but it is a break there from number 7, Ken Jones. Well, indeed, Peter Brown, number 16, seems to have got the break. Yes, indeed, it's Peter Brown on the 1000cc Higgs who leads. There's number 12 coming up strongly, Terry Skinner on the McKenna Beach way from Oxford. But there is the leader, number 16, Peter Brown. So Brown well clear, something like 40 yards between him and the second place chair. So Brown looking for the 6 points here. Let's try and pick up the positions as he comes off the turn. Second place, it is number 12, Terry Skinner. Then we have number 9, Dennis Teasdale in third place. Well, it looks like the main race here is going to be for second and third, because that leader is well clear now, virtually the length of a straight ahead of the rest. Number 16, Peter Brown, with his passenger Craig Cheetham. These two from Coventry in the West Midlands. They're well in front now. Second place, number 12, Terry Skinner. Then third is number 9, Dennis Teasdale still. Teasdale beginning to make the attempt on the outside line. Number 7's up there, Ken Jones. And Jones looking for the gap there. I think it is number 7 making the challenge. But Skinner just about hanging on. Going into the final lap now. 16, 12, 9 and 3 is the order. Although Teasdale, no, number 9's dropped back now. And the smoke coming out one of the units there as the leader comes in for the checkered flag, and they're going to win this by a commanding margin. It's Peter Brown and Craig Cheetham win race 6 here today at Salisbury. 16 then winning by a substantial margin. 9 second, 12 thirds. That was Dennis Teasdale in second. Third place, it was number 12, Terry Skinner. Looking now to race 7, another 6 chairs to the start. And in this we have 18, Colin Jones, 6, that's Dave Manning, 14, Rob Wilson, 17, and that's Richard Piggott, 2, Steve Jewison, and 15, Pete Dyer. Close there between the front 5, in fact, all well bunched there. Number 6, though, Dave Manning, it is who leads. Second is 15, Pete Dyer. So we see the number 6 pairing, Dave Manning and Peter Blank on the 1000cc Goddenhagen of Kelvedon, which I take to be the Kelvedon in Essex. So they lead, but it's pretty tight behind them. Second place, 15 there, Pete Dyer. Third place, challenging strongly, number 2, Steve Jewison. Then we have number 14, Rob Wilson. And it's quite a battle there for that second and third place. This is the last race of the first leg of the sidecars. Good race for second place. Number 6 is well clear out in front. The second we have number 2, third we have number 15, then we have number 14, 17 and 18. So taking names to that as they go to the final lap, it's Dave Manning first, Steve Jewison second, third place Pete Dyer, and fourth place we have Rob Wilson, number 14. Incidentally, that previous race, the second and third was reversed by the lap scorers. Second place was Skinner, and third place it was Teasdale. But in this one, that's pretty straightforward. So it was number 6, Dave Manning, that took the win there with his passenger Peter Blank on the 1000cc Goddenhagen. Number 2 finishing in second place, Steve Jewison and Chris Brown on the Miller Drifter. We return to the sidecars now as they reach their second leg, and we have one of the leading units out in this one, Roger Meeser, number 5. We also have Ted Tucker, number 4 in this, number 18, Colin Jones, number 7, Ken Jones, number 10, Colin Banks, number 8, Paul Pinfold. Well, Meeser, along with his partner Dave Harris, won their first ride of the day. There's problems there with one of the chairs pulling back, I think just trying to get the machine back under power, but no, there they go, the tape drops, and away they go. And coming off the turn now, yes it is indeed Misa and Harris that lead. Second place, it's being battled out for between Jones and Pinfold, 8 and 7. Jones, in fact, 7, Pinfold 8. But it's still Misa, British Masters champion this year, leading, but he's not leading by quite such a margin here in race 12. Second place, number 8, Paul Pinfold. Third place is number 7, it's Jones. 10 being relegated into 5th now, Banks. Going down the back straight now, still Misa out in front. Second place, Ken Jones, number 7. As they come off the turn, no, indeed, it's Pinfold in second place, number 8 with Alan Altus. His passenger, 1 lap to go now. Third, 7, 4th, it's number 10, Banks. 5th now, it's number 4, Tucker. But Misa and Harris are heading for their second win of the afternoon here at Salisbury. Already picked up 6 from their first ride, and it's 6 again for Misa, but it's only just at the end as Pinfold closed in. So that's 5 from 8. Third place went to number 10, Banks. Race 13 leaving the start there, and this one we have Pete Brown, number 16, who won his first ride. Looking for the break now, going down into the turn. Trying to pick up the numbers there. It looks like we have number 3, Alan Blewett, in second place. It is indeed 16, Pete Brown who leads. Blewett being challenged now by Dennis Teasdale, number 9. It's neck and neck between second and third. 16 confirmed out in front, Peter Brown looking for his second win of the day, and indeed will keep parity with Misa, Roger Misa, who won the last race, his second of the day. Brown looking for a similar total here of 12 out of 12. Second place currently is number 7. Number 3, I think, is Alan Blewett, being challenged by number 9, and that is Jeff Misa. That is rather Dennis Teasdale. And indeed, another chair challenging for third place now, and indeed taking up that third position. We see the race there for second and third. There are the leaders, Peter Brown. Second place it is now 19, Jeff Misa. Third place is number 3, Alan Blewett. So Jeff Misa, along with his partner on the number 19 machine, Dave Pope, breaking through there into second place. I don't think they're going to break all the way through the first. There's a long gap between them and number 16, Peter Brown. The checkered flag comes out now, and it's a win for number 16, Peter Brown, in race 13. Second place goes to number 19, Jeff Misa, in what was a pretty easy run for number 16, and now it's Misa, Roger Misa, that is, and Peter Brown, who are tied at the top of the sidecar charts on 12 points. Let's see now whether unit number 6 can join them if they can win race 14. And the chairs break away from the start now in race 14, the last race of the second leg of the sidecars here at Salisbury, looking to see whether number 6, Dave Manning, can get a win here to join those other 2. But no, it's number 2 who leads, Steve Jewison. Looking at the points from the first race, Jewison had a second place first time out, is 15 in second place. And that is the unit of Pete Dyer, and Dyer in his first attempt only had 3 points. So a change in the form book here with number 6, Dave Manning, getting pushed down the field and trying to pick him out here. And in 6th, indeed, Manning is struggling at the back of the field. Number 6 machine not producing the right power for him there, the 1000cc Goddenhagen. So it's going to be 2 pairings, joint top of the score charts after the second leg of the sidecars. Now will be Roger Misa and number 16, Peter Brown, on 12 points after 6 sidecar races. It's number 2, though, Steve Jewison, who will take now third place, I think, in the overall points. Steve on the Miller Drifter with his partner Chris Brown, beaten in their first ride, but now getting a win in their second, and they are well clear here as the checkered flag comes out. It's number 2 first. Second place is number 17, Piggott. Third place just on the line, it was Dyer, number 15. So Jewison and Brown take third place by my reckoning. They now have 11 points, but it's leaders Roger Misa and Peter Brown on 12 points after 2 legs at the sidecars, with Jewison on 11 points in third. Well, the sidecars are away now in race 19. And Misa going through on the inside, number 5, beautiful start there, but where is Peter Brown, 16? Oh, indeed, number 1, Steve's, number 1, yes, out in front, Steve Smith. Well, the commentary box getting covered there with dirt and stones, you probably heard it coming through. over the mic as the chairs race there, and indeed marvellous action there as Misa hits the front once more past Smith. Steve Smith, the reigning Ace of Aces champion, got a different partner though this year, and it's Misa who hits the front. Misa first, Smith second. In third place, it looks like Jeff Misa, number 19. It's marvellous action out in front though, first and second changing all the time. Roger Misa leading from Steve Smith. So it's 5 from 1. Looks like it might be Jeff Misa actually down in fourth. I think somehow that's Paul Pinfold in third place. And Pinfold's passenger, Artus, partnered Smith last year to victory in the overall event. Checkered flag coming out now as they come across the line. Around to the turn. It's a win for Misa. Roger Misa gets that first place. Second place goes to Steve Smith there in race 19. Looks like Jeff Misa was up there in third place, number 19. But an excellent race there in race 19. Riders at the start now for race 20. Looking at this one, it looks like we have, yes, Steve Jewison coming out in this number 2. Was third before this third leg of the sidecars with 11 points. So a win here would put him in a strong position now in challenging Misa. Incidentally, in that previous race, the tape's been broken again. In that previous race, number 16, Peter Brown, finished in 6th place, so he lost out on a chance of holding off Misa, who now opens up a 5-point lead over Peter Brown at the top, after they were both level going into that one. Third place, by the way, was confirmed in race 19, going to Paul Pinfold, in fact, number 8 with Jeff Misa in fourth. Looking to race 20 now coming up. In this one we have number 15, Pete Dyer, number 4, Ted Tucker, number 2, Steve Jewison, number 17, Richard Piggott, number 10, Colin Banks, number 7, Ken Jones. So away they go, and Jewison looking for a win here to try and keep the pressure on the top of the chart. And indeed, it looks like he's made the break, but problems there, and indeed we have a faller jump. Oh, number 11 getting caught there with 15, it looked like. And indeed, the red flag has gone out following that crash. The yellows are around the incident. In fact, it was 17, Richard Piggott, who got involved, and indeed it looks like Piggott's trapped underneath the bike. His partner escaped. It looked like Chris Skipper just jumped off as the bikes went round. I'm not sure whether it's the rider off 17 or the rider off 15, and that would be Pete Dyer. But one of them got caught, and of course, sidecar racing a dangerous business, because at the big Wimborne Whopper meeting, there was sadly a fatality earlier in the season for Jim Cole. So obvious concern. It's not one of the safest games, particularly when you get one of those machines going on top of you. The solos are bad enough, and when you get run over by a chair, you soon know what's hit you. We think that's the passenger there, off 17, lying on the infield, but obvious concern there. After that crash, as they went into the bend, in race 20, there'll be a restart of that one. Well, an enterprising piece of advertising there. That's one that you might be able to think about going along to. And we haven't found out actually where the Hangover grass track is yet, but we'll give you details later on in the program if indeed we can find it. The plane hauling the advert, a nice piece of enterprise. Well, the news on that race is Pete Dyer has been taken off by ambulance. There's John's acting there after that crash, and it looks like we've got a rerun now. And indeed, Colin Banks has taken the lead there. It is a rerun without the 15 machine. Number 10, Colin Banks, now out in front. Second place is number 7, and that is Ken Jones. Steve Jewison needs the points here. Problems there. Oh, the hand goes up from 17 from Piggott. Richard Piggott as the engine seemed to blow there. Piggott sitting on top of 984 cc's of Potter Wasp engine. Well, Steve Jewison up in the second place now. Third is Ken Jones. Jewison looking for 5 points from this second place. Will put him up to 16. Could well give him a second place overall. He seems on his way to the final, along with his passenger Chris Brown. Number 10 coming through there, Colin Banks on the NRE Lynx. Colin with his passenger John Moore, just holding off the challengers Jewison and Brown. But they've got the outside line now going into the final lap. A fascinating race here for first and second. There goes Jewison on the outside and through the first place. This will put Jewison on 17 points. That'll put him just 1 point behind Roger Misa. Coming up to the line now, it's Jewison who's going to win race 20, the rerun. Second place, it was number... You know, I've forgotten. It was number 10, second place, Colin Banks. So an excellent race there in race 20. We'll try and get the brain fixed for race 21. Incidentally, there was a reserve replacement in race 20. They finished in 4th place. It was the Tyrrell brothers, Chris and Lawrence, on their 987 Honda. They finished in 4th place. 3rd, it was Ken Jones. We've got another tape break. And if they keep doing this, I think we'll be doing this one under moonlight, because it's heavy overcast conditions here at Salisbury. The first day of Greenwich Mean Time this year. Yes, this is actually October the 27th as we record this. You're watching this obviously mid-November, and we're a little concerned about the light. It started early, but let's hope that the finals do not appear in gloom, because obviously on a grass track like this there is no lighting. Well, we've still got 12 races to go in this meet. We've got 8 more qualifiers before we go on to the 2 consolations and the 2 finals. So the marshals get the bikes back in position. Lining up in race 21, going through the lineup, we have number 9, Dennis Teasdale. We don't have a name for his passenger today, unfortunately. Number 3, Alan Blewett. We have number 11, Mick Cameron. Number 6, Dave Manning. Number 18, Colin Jones. And number 12, Terry Skinner. Looking at the points for some of these, well, none of them really in the top bracket. Indeed, none of them in the top 6 going into the 3rd leg. So all of them needing their points here. And away they break. It looks like Cameron made the break. We'll try and get confirmation as they come down into the turn, but in fact, it looks like Manning to me, number 6, yes. It is Dave Manning who leads here. Manning with a win and 6th place so far. So not exactly a model of consistency with 6 and 1 points from the first 2 rides. But returning to form here, he needs this win to keep on track for a position in the final. He was holding 7th place going into this 3rd leg, so just about short of a place in the final. Number 3 in here there, this passenger Ned Wilson on the Suzuki Wasp. These 2 from the northeast, Darlington to be precise. With this Dave Manning and Peter Blank who leads the Essex riders on the 1000cc Goddenhagen. For the challenge coming up on the outside there into 2nd place, or into 3rd place in fact. It's Manning first, number 6. Then we have number 9, 11 and 18. 9 is Teasdale, 11 is Cameron, 18 is Jones. So it's tight for the lower positions, but the leaders are now something like 30 yards clear of 2nd, but there's a race going on for 2nd place now. Going around the outside, it's number 11. It's Cameron looking for the break on the outside of Teasdale. The checkered flag is out, and 11 makes it right on the line. Teasdale relegated to 3rd. It's a win for Manning, number 6. Cameron, 11, 2nd. Teasdale, 3rd, number 9. That could be enough for Manning to ease himself back into the top 6. Number 11, Cameron, picking up 5 points there after 2 4th places from his first 2 rides, so he's getting back in. Race 26 coming to the tapes, and this we have Alan Blewett, Paul Pinfold, Ken Jones, Peter Brown, Steve Smith and Ted Tucker. On the current points going into this 4th leg, Roger Misa leads on 18, Steve Jewison's on 17, Paul Pinfold on 14, and then we have Dave Manning and Colin Banks and also Pete Brown on 13 points. Those are the top 6 en route to the final at the moment, but everyone's got a race to go. And indeed in 2nd place in this one at the moment it's Pete Brown, trying to overcome the disappointments of slipping back in that 3rd ride after 2 wins, slipping back into 6th place. Still on target for the final though with 13 points. But it's still pretty tight in the middle order, chasing those last couple of places. Leading in this one, we indeed have number 8, Paul Pinfold, and his passenger, Alan Artus. Paul from Warwick, in the West Midland area. Paul well clear now, on 14 points going into this, in 3rd place overall. So the 6 points here will put him on 20 and in a virtual certain route to the final. There can be few more spectacular sights than a chair under full power around the grass track in the world of motorcycle racing. And Pinfold, well clear now, something like 30-40 yards, checkered flag coming out. As Pinfold wins race 26 with comparative ease, he finishes then on 20 points for Pinfold. 2nd place was number 16, and that was Peter Brown. indeed third place in a fairly strung-out race went to Alan Blewett, number 3. Steve Smith well down the order. It looks like the reigning champion is going to miss out on the final here today. Well, confirmation of that race 26 result. In fact, in third place it was Ken Jones, number 7. He slipped through while I wasn't looking. Fourth place and last finisher was number 3, Alan Blewett. And indeed, only 4 chairs finishing race 26. On now to race 27, the penultimate race of these qualifiers. Top scorer coming up in this one is Steve Jewison, in second place overall in the Ace of Aces qualifiers with 17 points. Also in this we have Dennis Teasdale, number 9. We have number 10, Colin Banks, who's on 13 and is en route to the final. Needs really to get into the top 3 here in race 27 to make sure of it. But making the break, it looks like it is Mick Cameron, number 11. He's outside the frame at the moment, so needs a win in this one. Standing each on second is Steve Jewison. Third place is number 14, Rob Wilson. Well, Wilson hasn't scored too well so far, only 7 points out of a maximum total of 18 from the first 3 legs of the sidecar event here at Salisbury. Winterbourne Gunner, the delightfully named village to be precise. So it's 11 from 2, and up now into third place it's number 10, Colin Banks. And that could be what Banks needs. We have a unit now in front of the actual leaders, almost at the point of being lapped, I think. And indeed, number 14, misfiring badly. That's Rob Wilson. 11 from 2. Third place is number 10, and fourth, number 9. So Teasdale in fourth. Or indeed in fifth. Going down the back straight into the turn, where there's the checkered flag is raised. It's going to be a win now for number 11. 11 wins. Second place went to number 2, Steve Jewison. Third place, number 10, Colin Banks. Looks like Banks may well just make it through to the final, but number 11 getting some useful points there, Mick Cameron. Let's see how many he finishes on. In 11, that's 17 points that Cameron finishes on. That may well be enough to put him into the final. 5 points picked up there by Steve Jewison. He finishes with 22. 4 points picked up by Colin Banks, and Banks finishes on 17 points. The last qualifying race coming to the tape now, race 28. In this we have the 2 of the top chairs in this event, although number 6, Dave Manning, a little lower than I think he would have been happy with, but that's a false... No, the yellow flags are out. It is indeed a false start, yes, with the flags coming out. It was a break by Roger Misa, but they'll have to go back to the tape for a restart of race 28. Just to take a look at the points, Roger Misa on 18. 3 wins out of 3, looking for his 4th win to certainly sound a warning to the rest of the competitors. When we arrived here at Salisbury, somebody said, Roger Misa and Dave Harris, there will be no opposition to them. They're winning everything this year. And it looks on the form today as if they are going to be the pair to beat in the Ace of Aces final. And the bikes are back at the start. Looks like we've got a reserve unit out, Chris Tyrrell and Lawrence Tyrrell, once more replacing the injured Pete Dyer. Interesting that we haven't seen the other reserve pairing out yet, Mike Keefe and Bob Wheeler. And it's Misa and Harris who rearranged themselves at the start, looking for their 4th win of the afternoon. And away go the bikes for this last qualifying race, which is certainly taking a while to get underway, but it's a clean start this time. And coming across the line, it's number 5 who leads, Roger Misa. These sidecar races, in fact, just under 4 laps, because when they cross the line, they're shown a sign of 3 laps to go. Roger Misa away, though, looking for his 4th win of the day here at the Ace of Aces. Certainly had some excellent action here today at Salisbury. The track holding up to it beautifully. Second place, number 19. It is Jeff Misa. So it's Misa from Misa. Roger Misa and Dave Harris from Stevenson on the 998 Honda. We certainly do get a variety of engines in these bikes, but the yellow flag is out. The yellow and black flag, in fact. It's not a warning to them. They show the yellow flag in grass track if there is any danger. But the yellow and black flag goes out. 1 lap to go. 1 unit's pulled off onto the infield. It looks like it is the reserve pairing, number 21, the Tyrrell brothers. Coming off the turn now up to the checkered flag, and that completes the qualifiers as they cross the line. It's number 5, Roger Meeser and Dave Harris, unbeaten in the sidecar qualifiers. 19-second, Jeff Meeser. 3rd place just on the line, number 6, Dave Manning. Will that be enough for a place in the final? We will have to now tot up the points and find out. So that's the qualifiers complete here at Salisbury, rather, nearly said Andover. This meeting, of course, promoted by the Andover Grass Track Club at Winterbourne Gunner. And coming up now, we have the last 4 races of the day, the 2 consolations and the 2 finals. But first, we're going to add up the points and bring you the qualifiers for the various races. Well, racing has now reached the interval prior to the consolation and final, and in the meantime, the amusement park that has decamped down in one corner of the field, including the Horrorville, which is doing a fair bit of business, is now the focus of attention for the spectators here at Salisbury. Well, while they entertain themselves and get their food from the various bars, let's take a look at the qualifiers for the remaining races. Starting off with the sidecars, top qualifier on 24 points was number 5, and that was Roger Meeser and Dave Harris. Second qualifier on 22 points was number 2, Steve Jewison and Chris Brown. Third qualifier on 20 points was number 8, and that was Paul Pinfold and Alan Artis. On 18 points, we have number 16, Pete Brown and Craig Cheetham. Then on 17 points, we have, well, two out of these 3 will go through to the grand final. Number 6, Dave Manning and Peter Blank. Numbers 10, Colin Banks and John Hall. And number 11, Mick Cameron and Paul Randall. One of those will have to go through instead to the consolation race. And the consolation qualifiers that we know of, number 15, Pete Dyer and Andy Thorne or rather number 19, Jeff Meeser and Dave Pope on 15 points. On 12 points, number 7, Ken Jones and Roland Broomfield. On number 9, rather, Dennis Teasdale. We don't know Dennis's partner, unfortunately, today. Also on 12 points, number 12, Terry Skinner and Clive Reynolds. And on 11 points, number 3, Alan Blewett and Nev Wilson. So those are the qualifiers for the sidecar consolation and final. Sidecar consolation comes to the line now. This race sponsored by Martins of Andover, local car dealers. Well, thanks to them for their sponsorship. And they are Audi Volkswagen dealers in London Street, Andover. So their sponsorship now at stake here in the sidecar consolation. £40 to the winner, £30 to second, 20 to third, and £10 to fourth. And problems there at the start. The arm goes up from one of the competitors. The lineup for this one, just to remind you, number 11, Mick Cameron. We have number 19, Jeff Meeser. Number 7, Ken Jones. Number 9, Dennis Teasdale. Number 12, Terry Skinner. And number 3, Alan Blewett. Well, the highest scorer out of this group of 6 riders in the qualifiers was number 11, Mick Cameron, with his partner Paul Randall on the 994 Godden Normac. They're from Shoreham in West Sussex. Problems there, though, for Skinner and Reynolds, number 12. So this race worth a total of £100 put up by Martins of Andover, the Volkswagen Audi dealers. And the bike is refusing to start here as the light falls. This is the last thing we need, a delay before these races. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have any lights here, and I don't think the bike's going to have any lights. So I think it'll be racing by memory if we don't get this chair out of the way soon. In fact, he has indeed pulled out of the consolation race there. Terry Skinner and Clive Reynolds with the McKenna V-twin failing to fire there. So 5 starters only here in race 29, the sidecar consolation. More problems. One of the units being forced back from the tapes, but there they go. Looking for the chair that's going to make the break. Going down into the turn, it's one of the ones off the inside there. And indeed, it's number 11 who's made the break. Mick Cameron, the top scorer out of the qualifiers, out of these 5 units. He's scored 17 points in the qualifiers, chasing you in second. It's Alan Blewett and Nev Wilson on the Suzuki Wasp. Those two, the men that have come down all the way from Darlington here to Wiltshire for today's Ace of Aces. 2 lap marker being shown now to the drivers as they come off the turn. Number 11 from number 3. Third place is number 19, Jeff Meeser, along with his partner, Dave Pope. Things getting a little strung out now in this Martins of Andover consolation. Number 11, Mick Cameron, on that 994 Cotton. Certainly producing plenty of power. The passenger doing his work there, leaning over, going into the turn. The leg just about holding Pope at the back of the bike. Cameron well clear, heading home for that £40 prize. The checkered flag comes out. And on the final turn, it's just a very convincing margin for Mick Cameron. Coming in for the win, Mick Cameron first, then number 11. Second place, it's number 3. Third place, number 19. Fourth, number 9. So allocating the prize money to the positions. First place, number 11, Mick Cameron. He picks up £40. Second place, it was number 3, Alan Blewett and Nev Wilson. Of course, Cameron's partner was Paul Randall. Second place, Alan Blewett and Nev Wilson. They pick up £30. Third place, number 19, Jeff Meeser and Dave Pope. They pick up £20. And fourth place, it was number 9, Dennis Teasdale and his mystery partner. They pick up £10. Just missing out on the placings was Ken Jones, number 7, along with his partner, Roland Broomfield. So that's it in the Martins of Andover sidecar consolation. The first prize of £40 going to Mick Cameron and Paul Randall. Coming up to the tape now, looks like we're just about going to beat the light. And away they go. Penultimate race of the day here at Winterbourne Gunner. And in the break to the turn, it's number 5, yes, it's Meeser again who's done it. Roger Meeser and Dave Harris first, then second place. Well, they've lost the number, it looks like. The challenge coming certainly from those two guys showing the STP labels on the back. And they're through. Meeser having problems there. Going down the back straight. Now we'll try and get this number. It's number 8, in fact. Yes, it's Paul Pinfold and Alan Artus. Well, Artus, the partner, the passenger took the prize last year with Steve Smith. And it looks like he's going to get it. Meeser being beaten for the first time here today in the final. Pinfold and Artus from Warwick leading here in the Doves of Andover. Ace of Aces. Sidecar final. Well, sensation there with Meeser having been passed on the back straight as if he'd stopped going there. Third place, number 2, Steve Jewison. Fourth place is number 16, Pete Brown. Well, this leading chair only finished third in the overall points from the qualifiers, but the sudden death nature of the final gives a win and £500 as they come out of the final turn. The £500 prize will go to number 8. 8 from 5. 2 was third. So it's 8-5-2, and that means that the winner was Paul Pinfold and Alan Artus. They pick up £500 from Doves of Andover, plus that Loxcombe Corner Service Station trophy, and Alan Artus will receive the Dave Harris Shield, and he shares in an Ace of Aces championship win for the second time in 2 years after partnering Steve Smith last year. Second place went to number 5, Roger Meeser and Dave Harris. They pick up £300 in their first defeat of the day. And third place, just on the line, Steve Jewison and Chris Brown. Number 2, they pick up £200.